Hallo, hier ist Till von CamperOase. Heute bin ich bei Defender Adventure mit dem Firmenchef Luke. Und Luke zeigt uns den Isuzu D-Max. Das Fahrzeug ist das einfache der beiden, die er hat. Und das ist der Duo für bis zu 4 Personen. Duo, weil ja, man kann 1 oder 2 Rooftop-Tents oben anbringen. Luke, what's the plan behind that vehicle? What can you tell us about the design of the vehicle?
So, me, I'm Luke. I run Defender Adventure. It's always been a passion of mine. And the business has just kind of evolved organically, which is awesome. This is our duo or family offering. Basically with one tent, duo, and then we can put a second tent on the front to make it a family, depending on the number of people. We always have an awning. On this offering, it's just a standard 180 awning. Easy to set up, just comes straight off the side. The vehicle itself, obviously all-terrain tyres, given you can go on and off-road. Steel rims, they're much tougher than the factory alloys. Dual cab, so if you're just using this as a couple, you're going to have plenty of extra room on the back seats. And then basically we jump into the canopy. So these are made here in WA. They're a purpose-built 4x4 canopy. Up in the head is the battery system. So we run 100 amp hour lithium auxiliary. That charges off the battery and also solar, which we'll talk about in just a second. You have some master switches for your lights. Super easy to put on in the evenings, and you can change the lights to red, so this does not attract the insects as much. Also up on the headboard there's a voltage gauge, so you can keep an eye on how much life the battery has left. There's some 12 volt outlets, so for charging USBs and anything off a SIG socket. And then we move on to our fridge. So we always use an upright fridge, much easier to get in and access things. Shelving, drawer in the bottom. There's a freezer which also has an ice cube tray, so you can have nice ice cubes for drinks in the evenings. And then obviously plenty of space in the door. Next is our pantry. So this just slides out, and basically you can stow away anything that doesn't need to be refrigerated. Rice, pasta, tins, anything like that. Plenty of space in the front also for salt, pepper, other condiments. Then as we move down, we have our slide out prep table and our slide out drawer system, and we do provide some baskets with some kitchenware. So there'll be fry pans, colanders, there'll be plates, there'll be tumblers for hot beverages, and there'll be some plastic cups for cool beverages. There's a mixing bowl, saucepans, and enamel bowls for cereals. Tea towels, soap and sponge for washing up. And there's also a little collapsible sink just hidden behind here. And then basically this is our utensil pack. So in here is everything you're going to need. So chopping boards, cutleries, knives, utensils, all of that stuff. And then this little thing here is it's quite cool. It's basically just a gas powered kettle. So you'd fill this up with your water, put the lid on, connect it to the burner, and then it's simply just open the gas and ignite, and that one there will boil water for tea and coffee in the morning very quickly. I'll just put this one in. We do have a huge void up here. This is partly for extras, so if you want something like a barbecue, we can throw that up in here. There's some beach and bath towels in the corner as well, and then there's plenty of other space for maybe excess groceries that you may have. As we come around to the back, we provide a big 4 kilo gas cylinder. So this lasts a few months, even with regular use of barbecues and cookers. Yeah, very rarely do people need to refill that. And then we have a big rear trundle drawer. So normally the lid's down and you can put your cooker or barbecue here to cook. And then inside we do provide a toolkit. This is just a standard dual burner, so for saucepans and fry pans. Some recovery gear, ropes and shackles, water hose. So we do have a 60 litre water tank up underneath, and it's just gravity fed. So all you do is just open the valve here and you have your fresh drinking water. 60 litres, so it is plenty. And then just some pegs and mallet for your awning.
Perfect.
And then we'll do another one for the back, yeah?
Yes. So now we are at the back of the vehicle. Luke, can you explain how the rooftop tent and the ladder works?
Absolutely. So we use James Brood, which is an EU-made tent, one of the best on the market. And what we do to make it easy to get in and out and not have to carry a huge ladder is on the back of the canopy, we put a drop-down ladder. So basically you whiz up and down here and straight in and out of the tent.
How long does it take to set up the tent or take it back down in the morning?
I would say this particular model here, where it has 4 fastening points, would probably take 1 minute to open. You just undo the clasps and it pops open. And it probably takes a good 2 minutes to pack down. So you need to pull the back down and then obviously tuck the sides in and the same at the front. And it's probably a 2-person job.
Perfect.
This side of the canopy is basically left free for your cargo. So suitcases, plenty of room. And then bulky things like chairs and tables. And then up on the shelf is some recovery boards. So when you go sand driving, if you get stuck, they're very good to have. And then as part of our battery system, we have a 1,000-watt inverter. So you can charge laptops, drones, cameras, and you can also power things like Starlink. So if you want to hire one from us, you can run it.
What's in this compartment over here? You got a compressor?
So this one, on the other side is the inbuilt compressor, and then on this side is just some essential fluids, so oil and coolant, a little dustpan and brush, and then more space for any belongings. And then probably the last thing would be our solar. So this is a standard inclusion. So whenever you're not driving and you want to keep the battery charged, you simply plug in the blanket. It does have a very long 10-meter lead. What this means is you can park the car in the shade and you can put the panel in the sun. And that's 200 watts and that trickle charges the battery quite nicely.
Perfect. Thanks for showing us the vehicle, Luke.
You're very welcome. Thanks for your time.